Right. Hey everyone. Today we're working on a 2014 Nissan Sentra. This is the base model. It has smaller wheels, drum brakes in the back. Take the wheel up, you're going to need a 21 mil. First, make sure you have a jack stand. First things first, always. Side. I like to set the wheel under the car just for more safety. This has got to come off. Sometimes it can be a pain. You want to give them a couple taps. This one I had off yesterday, but we didn't have the right part, so it came off a little easier. I had to hit it like 10 or 15 times the first time. So, cool thing is you don't have to take the drum off to get this wheel bearing out. There's four 14mm bolts back here, which you're going to take out, but first, if you do 10 mil, you're going to take out the wheel speed sensor. You're going to make sure that your ratchet is turned the right way. So that's coming out. So then the 10 mil bolt comes out and the wheel speed sensor just pops out. There's a little hole for it, which I'll show you later. And then so now I'm going to go to my 14 mil. It is I put a small extension on it just to get in there a little bit easier. Take all four of these out. One. And two. They're all the same size. Three. Now you got to be careful, because there's a brake line attached to this, to the dust shield and the drum brake. So when you take this last bolt off and you're trying to get the bearing, the hub assembly out, this whole thing will want to fall, and you don't want that to happen because it'll pull on the brake line. So you have to make sure that you separate these two from each other. What I did is I held onto this and I tapped lightly on here. I did it a few times and then I had to wiggle it to get it out. But see, I'll show you. Oops, let's see, let's get a light going in here. You can see the brake line is attached. So you don't want to move that. You can only move it a very little bit. So that's why we're going to keep this here and then clean this area out so that the bearing goes in there easier. And then we'll put the other bearing in and get it put together. Okay, here's the new part. Hub assembly sealed. If it was all-wheel drive, there would be splines in here for an axle to go through. This is for the wheel speed sensor. That's where the 10 mil bolt goes in, and the wheel speed sensor fits right inside there. And these are the 14 mil bolts that go through here. So we're going to try to get this in there nice and easy. What I'll do is I'll take one of these bolts and I'll put it through. Mind you, I've cleaned this area so it'll be easier to go in. I put that bolt through so that it can hold this part together while I put it in to the hole and kind of hold it in there. Sometimes it can be a pain to get that to line up, but if you put that bolt in to hold it first, it'll hold everything up there and make it a lot easier to install. And yeah, these other bolts are going right in where they're supposed to go, so that's awesome. Yep, everything's lining up. Always remember, don't tighten it down until you get all the bolts in, because if it's out of alignment, like it is right now, like if I would have tightened those down, I wouldn't be able to get this in. So you got to make sure to put them all in hand tight first. That way you're not backing stuff out and having to spend more time, because time is money. Essentially, being a good mechanic is learning how to do stuff the fastest, but also you can't break stuff at the same time. So you got to find the right way to do things. And usually the right way to do things takes a little bit more time. So if you try to go too fast and you break something, then you spend way more time than just doing it the right way. I'm going to tighten these in a crisscross pattern. I'm sure it's not super important to do it this way, but it's always best. Okay, so I got those tight. And now I'm going to move on to the 10 mil for the wheel speed sensor. And if you want, I'll show you that going in. So, yep, there's that. Alright, we will get the ratchet on it. You don't want to reef on it too tight, you just want to get it tight. Tight is tight, but too tight's loose. Okay, so we got all 4 of those tightened in there. Feels nice and smooth. If this was an all-wheel drive, it would be pretty much the same thing, but you would be pulling this off of a CV shaft, so there'd be a nut in here. You would remove that and do the same process, but it'd be a little bit tougher to get this out. You might have to tap a little bit as you're pulling this out this way. But if it is all-wheel drive, it's going to have disc brakes, so it'll be a little bit different setup. You'll see. So we're going to put the drum back on. I did use Moog parts, even though they have a new owner, and they're not quite as good as they used to be. But yes, we'll put this on now, and then we will, might have to use 2 hands with this. Oh, there we go. So that goes on, nice and tight. And then we're going to put the lug nuts on, and we'll be good and done. Okay, so with the wheels, since I'm a little guy, I don't like to lift them with my back. So I put my hands through here, or my fingers, and I use my arms and my knees as a fulcrum to lift it like that, and I'm not using my back at all. Makes it a lot easier, especially with heavier wheels. And of course you can put these all on by hand first, because you don't want to mess up your threads by putting them on with the impact. saw that, right? Usually hubcaps have a little area for the air, and to that air Schrader valve there. Can you put that on? No more grindy. Alright, if you guys liked it, like it or subscribe. I'm gonna make more videos, so yeah. Thanks for watching. Later.